Hello, Ewing Leadership, and welcome to my TED Talk on a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. First, congratulations. You and your team have not only survived, but have thrived in the worst crisis in the last 100 years. And while I appreciate that, it also pisses me off to hear leaders and team members translate 2020 into a throwaway year. Perhaps it's because of my experience with throwaway years. For the 5.5 years I spent in prison, there was an ongoing conversation amongst the inmates about how to do their time. One side of that discussion concluded that the best way to do your time was to, if such a thing was available, was to decide to go to sleep and not wake up until it was time to go home, until they were released. Well, I thought that was bullshit. My part of that discussion was, why would you give up the opportunity to experience every day, even under bad circumstances, in a bad situation, and give up the opportunity to take something away from that experience? And that's how I did my time. And so when I look at 2020, I believe that you and the attitude you should have should not be about what was so bad with 2020. We can't change that. It has been what it has been. It will not change. However, what can change is the opportunity to reflect upon 2020 and the experiences that and lessons that it taught us. Because I can tell you, it definitely taught us things. I would suggest to you, as a leader, that it taught you and your team 3 things. I believe there are 3 takeaways that you need to reflect upon in 2021 and make some decisions to do about what those takeaways make possible in 2021. What's our first takeaway? 2020 made your team considerably stronger than it was in 2019. 2020 forced your team to face adversity in a way they never have before. Remember staff reductions, not enough inventory, curbside delivery, P21, and you and your team overcame each of those adversities. And I would suggest to you that now, as we look forward to 2021, they are more resilient, more self-confident, more sure of their ability to face adversities and be creative and innovative about how they address them and overcome them. They are stronger than they ever have been, which means they are in a position to be even better than they ever have been when it comes to performance productivity. What's our number 2 takeaway for reflection? 2020 made you a better team leader than you were in 2019. Not only were you required to face the same crisis of a health and economic pandemic that your team faced, you were also required to be a team leader. You were required to support your team, to be concerned about their well-being. And you succeeded at doing that. Under those adverse circumstances, you became a better communicator. You became more empathetic. You became more supportive. And you became more authentic in your interactions with both your team members and your customers. I would suggest to you that this experience, this takeaway has made you a stronger team leader prepared to move forward at a more productive rate than 2019. You're ready. You're ready for the opportunity to take this takeaway and apply it. And where's it going to be applied? Well, let's take a look at our number 3 takeaway. 2020 forced your customers to look at significantly different ways of doing business than they did in 2019. So you and your customers, because of 2020, have shared a bonding experience that never would have occurred otherwise. Your relationship with your customers is stronger than it ever has been because you were there to have their back, to assist them, to make sure that they did as well as they could under adverse circumstances. Your relationship is stronger than it ever was. At this point in 2021, because there is hope, and where there is hope, there is optimism. But with optimism also comes the thought process about, I like the good old days. And the good old days not represented by 2020 in anyone's mind, but by 2019. And so your customer and your employees, once again, are going to reflect about a return to the 2019 comfort zone. Now you have a choice to make. I don't believe you should allow that to happen. I believe that 2020 and 2021 is going to offer the opportunity to do things differently, more productively, more effectively, more efficiently for both you and your customer. I believe that there needs to be a new normal, not the old normal, not the 2019 normal, but the 2021 normal. The new normal of connecting and combining the old way of doing business and a new way of doing business. But that's up to you. Because if you are not proactive in that mindset, in that approach, I guarantee you the customer will revert back to the old way of doing business. I would suggest that that does not benefit either the customer or you and your team. Think about the opportunities to introduce your customer to alternative products, to different ways of delivery, to the opportunity to look at things differently to improve their business. By the way, this is up to you. You can choose to look at 2020 and these takeaways as an opportunity presented to you going forward. Or you can choose not to. You can also revert back to the 2019 comfort zone. But let me suggest to you that if that's what happens in 2021, you have absolutely allowed a crisis to go to waste. Thank you for watching my TED Talk, and I wish you and yours wonderful holidays.